Europe has just made a bold move that could send shockwaves to the global auto industry. Germany, France, and Denmark have taken unprecedented steps that threaten to cripple the US auto sector, specifically Tesla. But what led to this dramatic shift? How did a European backlash against Elon Musk and Donald Trump's policies escalate into a crisis for American automakers? And what does this mean for the future of US-Europe trade relations? Before we dive into the details, don't forget to subscribe to the African Web for more in-depth analysis of global affairs and their impact on Africa. Now let's uncover the full story. It all started when US President Donald Trump once again pushed the idea of acquiring Greenland, citing it as a national security priority. His statement, made in a March 2025 meeting with NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte, instantly sparked backlash. Danish Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen firmly rejected the idea, declaring that Greenland is not for sale. The European Union and NATO swiftly backed Denmark, making it clear that Europe would not allow the US to interfere in its territorial sovereignty. This was not the first time Trump had floated the idea of purchasing Greenland. In 2019, he had made a similar proposal, which was met with ridicule and firm opposition from Denmark. However, the stakes were much higher in 2025. Greenland is rich in natural resources, including rare earth minerals, which are crucial for high-tech industries, including electric vehicles and defense technology. Greenland's strategic importance extends far beyond rare earth minerals. The Arctic region has become a geopolitical battleground, with nations like Russia and China increasing their influence. Denmark, backed by the EU, sees US interest as an attempt to disrupt European control over a crucial strategic region. This was more than just a political statement. It was a firm rejection of Washington's growing influence over European affairs. The message was clear. Europe would not be dictated to when it came to its resources, markets, or sovereignty. But while Washington focused on Greenland, a much bigger crisis was brewing in the auto industry, one that would see Europe push back against Tesla and US dominance in the electric vehicle (EV) market. Tesla's troubles in Europe started in late 2023 when the company refused to sign a labor agreement with Swedish workers, sparking widespread strikes. Unions across Denmark, Norway, and Finland joined the protests, leading to blocked shipments and service center shutdowns. By early 2025, Denmark's two largest pension funds, Academic Pension and Pension Denmark, announced they were pulling all investments from Tesla, citing weak corporate governance and poor labor practices. The significance of this decision cannot be overstated. Pension funds control vast amounts of capital, and their investment choices are closely watched by institutional investors. When European pension funds divest from a company, it signals a lack of confidence that often prompts other investors to follow suit. This decision sent shockwaves through the financial markets, as institutional investors reconsidered their exposure to Tesla. If major pension funds in Europe were distancing themselves from the company, could others follow suit? The impact was swift and brutal. In January 2025 alone, Tesla's sales in Europe plummeted by 45%, with Germany and France leading the decline. Tesla is not just losing sales, it's losing public trust. A UK survey revealed that 59% of EV buyers refused to purchase a Tesla, not due to performance issues, but because they didn't want to be associated with Elon Musk. His political stance has increasingly alienated European consumers, particularly after he publicly supported Germany's far-right AfD party and criticized EU environmental policies. Elon Musk's outspoken political views have made him a polarizing figure. While his supporters admire his vision, many in Europe see him as a destabilizing force. The backlash against Tesla isn't just about corporate policies, it's about what the brand represents. In Germany, Tesla's sales collapsed by a staggering 76% in just 2 months. Meanwhile, the overall EV market in the country grew by over 30%. This wasn't just a slowdown, it was a complete rejection of Tesla as a brand. The German auto industry, long regarded as one of the strongest in the world, has seized this opportunity to promote local brands. BMW, Mercedes-Benz, and Volkswagen have launched aggressive marketing campaigns, emphasizing their commitment to sustainability and European values. European consumers are actively seeking alternatives, and legacy automakers like Volkswagen and Renault have been quick to capitalize on this sentiment. Tesla's ability to dominate the European market is slipping away, and unless drastic measures are taken, the damage may be irreversible. While Tesla struggles, European automakers like Volkswagen, Renault, and BMW are surging ahead. These companies have aligned themselves with European values, hiring local workers, complying with labor laws, and embracing sustainable development. Even Chinese EV brands are making significant inroads, taking advantage of the growing distrust toward Tesla. China's BYD, for example, has expanded its European market share at an unprecedented rate, offering affordable, high-tech EVs with government-backed incentives. BYD and other Chinese manufacturers are becoming fierce competitors to both Tesla and European automakers. In response, the European Commission has started investigating Chinese EV subsidies, concerned that state-backed pricing strategies could threaten local manufacturers. The potential for anti-dumping tariffs looms, which could alter the dynamics of the market once again. Beyond Tesla, this crisis highlights a deeper rift between the US and Europe, with the EU tightening its environmental regulations and pushing for stronger labor protections. American companies that refuse to adapt are finding themselves shut out of the European market. The end of tariffs could mark a turning point, signaling a shift in global trade alliances. If tariffs are removed, European automakers will have an even stronger foothold in global markets, further reducing Tesla's influence. The US must decide whether to cooperate with Europe's evolving regulations or risk being sidelined altogether. This shift could also impact Africa, as Europe looks for alternative suppliers of raw materials. Lithium, cobalt, and other key minerals used in EV batteries are abundant in Africa, providing the continent with a unique opportunity to negotiate better trade deals. With Europe reducing its dependence on US automakers, African nations could seize the opportunity to attract new investment in EV production and raw material exports. Could this be the moment for Africa to establish itself as a key player in the global auto industry? Africa's wealth of critical minerals, such as lithium and cobalt, places it in a strategic position. If African nations negotiate wisely, they could secure lucrative deals that not only boost local economies, but also position the continent as a major supplier of EV materials. However, Africa must also be cautious of exploitative trade agreements. European and Chinese companies have historically secured mining rights under unfavorable terms for local economies. African governments must push for agreements that prioritize local processing and manufacturing to maximize economic benefits. Tesla's troubles in Europe are far from over, and the fallout from Trump's Greenland push continues to strain US-Europe relations. Will Tesla manage to recover its lost market share? Can the US prevent a complete trade breakdown with Europe? And more importantly, what role will Africa play in this shifting economic landscape? The global auto industry is at a crossroads. If the US fails to adapt, it risks falling behind not just in Europe, but on the global stage. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Do you think Tesla's downfall in Europe was inevitable? And how can African nations capitalize on these global trade shifts? Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the African Web for more updates on global economic trends that impact Africa.